I'd love to hear a bit of background about yourself and also an update for those who are familiar with you.
Sure. Thank you, Jerry and HITLAB, for the invitation. We have been collaborating with HITLAB for the last 3 years, so it has been a long time, an exciting opportunity to learn more about the overall HITLAB organization. But as you mentioned, I'm Juan Jimenez, co-founder and CEO of AccurKardia, and in AccurKardia we are leveraging the humble and ubiquitous ECG as a more to be make it more as a more powerful diagnostic tool and broad biomarker to improve patient outcomes and save lives globally, first in the US and hopefully soon beyond the US. As a company, we are commercial stage with our first product, which is AccurECG, which is a software as a medical device class 2, which is a device agnostic software platform for the analysis of ECGs coming from Holters, extended Holters, and mobile cardiac telemetry. We call that our flagship product. And beyond that, we are leveraging ECG as a broad biomarker, and we have launched two software tools. One is AKBS, using electrocardiogram data for screening, detection, prediction, and management of the disease of aortic stenosis, which is a disease quite lethal and difficult to diagnose currently. And that particular product received FDA breakthrough device designation late 2024. And more recently, we announced our FDA breakthrough designation and acceptance into the FDA TAP program for our AccurKardia product, which is our tool to monitor for hyperkalemia in ESRD and CKD population using lead 1 data from the ECG. The tool is to better manage chronic kidney disease and end-stage renal disease using lead 1 ECG data currently with clinical devices, but hopefully soon we can expand the validation to do the same from consumer-grade devices like the Apple Watch, Samsung Watch, Fitbit, etc. We are excited to be here, and again, thank you, Jerry, for having me.
No, it's really wonderful to see the growth you guys have gone through over the last couple of years, Juan, and really thrilled that we as HITLAB have been able to play at least a small part in your growth and your development. And I think it's appropriate for being Heart Health Month to also have you on the program as well. And of course, it being Valentine's Day, what better to have a solution on to talk about heart health. But ECGs are new, of course. It's been a mainstay in cardiology and medicine for decades now.
Actually, more than 100 years.
Right, exactly. And we're talking about ECG now being the next, or you want to talk about the ECG being the next big biomarker in cardiology. So sort of now, what makes them, or what are you seeing that makes them uniquely positioned to become that next big biomarker in healthcare?
I think we are living a positive perfect storm that enable us to use that ECG to make it the next big biomarker. And to make this happen, there's a combination of factors. One is the availability and economic use of compute capacity. Compute power, every day becoming cheaper and more readily available. Second, ECG devices every day are more convenient and easier to use, and the ECG sensors has been embedded into everything from clinical grade devices to consumer devices like the watch, and there are even biofabrics now embedding ECG sensors into it. And third is the advancement in artificial intelligence that we have seen over the last 50 years, but in particular the last 4 or 5 years, which is making possible to us now to see within the ECG the hidden signals that couldn't be seen by a plain eye by a physician or clinician. We are able to see hidden signals in such information, be able to detect earlier certain diseases in cardiology and beyond. So we are not saying that I just want to share in the chat later in this conversation
Of course.
a paper published by a team of researchers from Mass General in Boston about they were able to identify correlations in ECG for more than 600 disease types. So not just traditional rhythm-associated disorders, but also structural heart, cardiometabolic, and even respiratory diseases. We are not saying that AccurKardia invented the term ECG as a biomarker. We are embracing that. And we believe AccurKardia is positioned to become the vehicle to take research into reality, and that's what we are doing using research currently that we have done, but also we are open, hopefully in the future, to collaborate with great minds around the globe to be able to use the AccurKardia vehicle to bring to market technology in the ECG space.
No, that's wonderful. And as you know, HITLAB is a great advocate for really improving research and how it's being done now. And it'd be great if using ECGs along with AccurKardia can really help improve that. Beyond sort of detecting sort of heart rhythm issues, where from your standpoint do you see sort of the most exciting potential for this ECG data to reveal even more broader sort of health insights and especially early indicators for other conditions that may be out there too?
So I'd like to mention three different use cases. The first two currently being developed by AccurKardia, but I will also mention other areas being worked by other people in the field. First, aortic stenosis is a structural heart disease that currently is the current standard of care is difficult to detect severe state of the disease. Up to 50% of patients are found post-mortem after they pass away to having found the disease. Currently, the gold standard for detection of that disease is echocardiography. There are a limited number of echocardiogram exams done in the US. The primary gatekeeper for an echocardiography test is the cardiologist. And there are around 50% of counties in America that do not have a practice in cardiology. So if you have, as a gatekeeper, to prescribe an echocardiogram is to have access to a cardiologist, we can do the math and see why is that difficult to have access to that particular test. But ECGs, electrocardiograms, are widely available in primary care, emergency departments, family medicine, up to cardiology. There are more than 100 million ECGs performed in America per year. If we are able to leverage the ECG data to be able to screen before the severity of the aortic stenosis condition causes the big symptoms, and sometimes even the disease is asymptomatic, we can going to be able to improve the detection, referral to therapy, and increase the quality of life and lifespans of patients experiencing such disease. You can go to our website and look at our latest research in the space, and we're looking forward to publish more in the upcoming months about our capability for not just detection, screening, and management of disease. And in the case of hyperkalemia, 14-17% of patients with CKD suffer from hyperkalemia, and up to 40% in patients with end-stage renal disease pass away because of hyperkalemia episodes. If we are able to better manage that population using an Apple Watch or a Samsung Watch or a clinical grade device with a lead one ECG capability, we're able to improve outcomes, better manage that population, and improve the quality of life. So I know there are also recent announcements. There are products in the market using ECGs for heart failure detection, using ECG for hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, among many others. We are not the only ones in the space, but we are the only ones focused on making the ECG the use of ECG as widely available as we intend to do so, using it as a broad biomarker.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, I think that that really just highlights the broad sort of insights that you can really gather from the data that's being gathered. You talked earlier about sort of ECGs an ECG collection and data being more broadly sort of available and readily available, especially to the consumer and stuff. But of course, cardiovascular disease is a condition that knows no boundaries, which in some ways can make it even more lethal than any other diseases out there. But how are you guys at AccurKardia ensuring that the ECG solutions are able to be accessed and also most importantly impactful across the diverse, the underserved, and also some of the more rural populations worldwide?
Yeah. First of all our technologies that we have developed are what we call device agnostic. We do believe that we shouldn't tie our capabilities to one device type, and I believe having a broad accessibility is essential. Second is the ease of integration, not only relying on one particular workflow, either via an API embedded in the EHR or embedded with the device ecosystem. I think that flexibility enables that. Finally, is about the diversity in clinical validation to make sure the results and there is no demographic and bias regarding information. The clinical validation has to come the demographic as well and diversity aspect. And finally, the only way to bring world-class diagnostic test at scale is with technology. It will be right now there's a significant shortage, as I said earlier. Nearly 50% of counties in America do not have a practicing cardiologist. In many developing countries, the issue is the same, and in other developed countries as well. So it is impossible, given the increasing prevalence of cardiovascular, cardiometabolic diseases, to have access to specialized medicine. We need to bring world-class diagnostic capability to primary care, so the primary physician could do more with the information they have at hand, and based on that information, better refer to treatment based on earlier insights. And I believe ECG is one of the cheapest diagnostic tool available at hand to clinicians, and to make that information available could help improve outcomes across the globe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I totally agree with you, Juan. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today, Juan. Thanks so much for sharing your insights and also your updates as to how you're doing with AccurKardia. It's really exciting to see where you guys have come from and grown. And I really implore everybody in the audience to check out the AccurKardia website and also connect with Juan to hear more about the amazing work that they're doing. And of course, Juan, I know you said you're going to put a paper link in the chat, link to a paper in the chat that you guys recently did as well.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Juan.